Hey there, good to see you. Welcome back. We are on week 4, day 2 here, and we are going to be reading one of my favorite passages in Luke. I think it's just a cool moment. It's not often that you see a Gentile, so a non-Jewish person, being featured in this story, and what's really cool, we're going to see 2 miracles of Jesus, but man, this centurion, I really like this story, so I'm just going to read the story, let it speak to you, and I'll tell you my thoughts as we go. So we're jumping in Luke 7. We're going 1 to 19. Luke 7, 1 to 19. And here it is. Here we go, jumping into chapter 7, verse 1. When Jesus had finished saying all this to people who were listening, he entered Capernaum. There a centurion's servant, whom his master valued highly, was sick and about to die. So we see a centurion, that's a Roman soldier who was in charge of a lot of soldiers. At least 100, that's centurion, that's what that means. So he's in charge of a lot of people. So there's a servant in his house who is sick. And this guy really values this servant. So he wants to get this guy healed. So verse 3, the centurion heard of Jesus and sent some elders of the Jews to him, asking him to come heal his servant. So this centurion sends some Jewish elders of where he lives to go ask Jesus to heal his servant. When they came to Jesus, they pleaded earnestly with him. So now the Jewish elders come to Jesus and they're going to be describing their love for this centurion. This man deserves to have you do this because he loves our nation, he loves us Jews, and has built our synagogue. So Jesus went with them. So that's very rare. Usually when you see Roman soldiers and the Jewish people, there's a lot of tension. But in this scenario, this sounds like a really awesome centurion guy. He's a big deal in this town. He's helped the Jewish people. He's loved them. He has helped build their religious place of worship. So this is just a cool scene to start with. We got this unique character. So Jesus, he was not far from the house when the centurion sent friends to say to him, Lord, don't trouble yourself, for I do not deserve to have you come under my roof. We have a centurion, a Roman authority, saying to Jesus, I'm not worthy to have you enter my house. That's crazy. That is why I did not even consider myself worthy to come to you. But say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I myself am a man under authority, with soldiers under me. I tell this one go, and he goes, and that one come, and he comes. I say to my servant, do this, and he does it. So the centurion has sent his friends out to Jesus to say, Jesus, I recognize that you are a man of authority, just like me. And when I have authority, I can say this thing should be done, and people will make it happen. I don't have to do it myself. And what he's really saying is, Jesus, I recognize your authority that if you just say the word, be healed, I know my servant will be healed. When Jesus heard this, he was amazed at him. And turning to the crowd following him, he said, I tell you, I have not found such great faith even in Israel. Then the men who had been sent returned to the house and found his servant well. So Jesus healed the guy just by saying the words. And this centurion showed something that Jesus said, I hadn't even seen this among the Jewish people, the people who I've come to minister to first. And what's so cool is this centurion showed 2 things that I think are really important for us even today to have. And those 2 things are humility. He says, Jesus, I'm not even worthy to have you in my house. I didn't even want to come to you myself because I'm not worthy. And he shows that. He shows that humility in recognizing Jesus for who he is and who he is in relation to Jesus. And that's amazing. But secondly, he also shows great faith. Jesus, he recognized, you don't even have to come touch my servant. I know your power. I've heard of you. And if it's true what I've heard, you just say the word and I trust that person will be healed. It just has to come from your mouth. It just has to come from you. And that faith, that's just so amazing. And so for us today to just know that those 2 things are so important with our walk with God. Faith in him, trust in him and his ability to do what he says he can do. And humility, knowing our place before him. We can't demand miracles of him. We can just ask humbly, just as this man did. A humble asking, would you please do this? If you will it, I know it's possible. And that's so awesome. So let's continue. Verse 11. Soon afterward, Jesus went to a town called Nain, and his disciples and a large crowd went along with him. As he approached the town gate, a dead person was being carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow, and a large crowd from the town was with her. So this is a really sad scene that Jesus is approaching. We have a widow, so a woman whose husband is dead, and it says that the crowd is carrying her son who now is dead. So this widow, the only person she has, her only son, has died. And Jesus is entering this scene, and it's a very sad scene, obviously. She has no one else left. And what we see from Jesus is one of the coolest things that speaks to who he is. So let's see this in verse 13. When the Lord saw her, his heart went out, and he said, "Don't cry." So Jesus sees this woman. He sees her pain, and this is who he's focused on. He's focused on this woman. Then he went up and touched the bier they were carrying him on, and the bearers stood still. So the people holding him stood still. He said, "Young man, I say to you, get up." The dead man sat up and began to talk, and Jesus gave him back to his mother. I think what's really cool about this miracle was for that mother. Jesus saw her pain. He saw what she was going through. He saw her heartbreak, and he came and he restored her son to her. I like that the focus of this, it's not on the dead son coming back to life for his sake. The focus isn't on the dead man being alive again, and that, oh, it's so great for him to be alive again, because who knows, maybe it was better, his spirit was with God. But Jesus did this miracle for the mother because he saw her pain, he saw her heartache, and he wanted to reach out and touch her and love her. And I think that was so cool, just how that focus is on doing this for the mother, restoring her son to her. They were all filled with awe and praised God. "A great prophet has appeared among us," they said. "God has come to help his people." This news about Jesus spread throughout Judea and the surrounding country. So Jesus is raising people from the dead. He's shown that he has power over death. He has power over sickness. He has wisdom. Jesus is showing he is who he claims to be in so many ways. We've seen healing after healing, raising people from the dead. It's incredible. And so that was an amazing passage. That one, please read that on your own. Find your own little nuggets of wisdom, because there's so much there. So my reflection question for you today is this. As I read through this passage and I see the centurion coming to Jesus for the sake of another person, I just think that's so awesome. And my reflection question for you today is this. Is there a person in your life who you should be bringing to God, who you should be praying for in your own time, and maybe their life's going off track. Maybe they're not even a Christian and you want them to find faith. Have you lifted someone else up in prayer who you know needs it recently? Have you come to God on their behalf, just praying for them, loving on them? And because when you start to do that, God's going to change your heart, and he could even start working in their heart. And so that's super important, just appealing to God, asking for your friends, for your family, who maybe don't even know him, or who need God to be working more powerfully in their life, which is really all of us. And your prayer point for today is this: God, would you just put on my heart that person that you want me praying for, that person that you want me to go out and love on, and maybe even talk to you with and about. God, would you make that person known to me today so that I can go out and I can love on them? But really it starts with prayer. Be praying for that person. Be praying that God would be working on their heart. And I believe he'll make that person known to you. But go ahead and take the step of, man, what can I do to love on that person, and point them to Jesus, point them to God and their need for a relationship with him. So that was awesome. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check in tomorrow. Thanks for watching these. I hope they're helping you. Be sure to just be living this out. Make sure you're not letting it stay in your head, but you're actually taking steps of, how can I put this into practice? How can I be loving people? How can I deepen my relationship with God? I'll see you tomorrow. Be sure to watch the videos daily. Join us on this journey. Thanks. Have a good day.